You're listening to Inside Lebo, a podcast giving you an inside look at Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Hosted by Assistant Municipal Manager and Municipal Planner Ian McMeans and Assistant Public Information Officer and Online Editor Stephanie Hackey.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Lebo. I'm Assistant Municipal Manager and Municipal Planner Ian McMeans.
And I'm Assistant Public Information Officer and Online Editor Stephanie Hackey.
Thanks for joining us again. Our guest today is Jeff Kelly, Executive Director of Medical Rescue Team South Authority, which many of you know as MRTSA.
Yes, and Jeff is here to talk to us about MRTSA's subscription drive and why you should sign up. So welcome, Jeff.
Thanks for having me. Glad
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about MRTSA, first of all, for folks who don't know what it is.
So Medical Rescue Team South Authority, or MRTSA, is the ambulance service that covers Mount Lebanon, as well as 5 other communities in the South Hills. We've been around since 1976, and we run about 11,000 calls a year, 50% of which are here in Mount Lebanon. So Mount Lebanon contributes to a fair number of our service calls. We come out for the sick and injured and the folks who fall, folks who are having babies at home, whatever the circumstances might be, and we provide pre-hospital medicine and transport people to the hospital.
What are some of the services you offer in terms of a wide range? I know you do some classes and things like that as well.
We do. So we offer some ancillary services. We do car seat safety inspection, so we can set up appointments at the station for folks to come in and get their car seats installed by a certified technician. We also offer CPR, first aid training, stop the bleed training. Those are real important for community members to know. And what we've found is that those folks who have that training, we have better outcomes then for patients and people in the communities, right? So the more people that can get trained in CPR, the better it is for everybody.
So you have a better outcome because you're preparing people beforehand instead of just reacting to the situation then?
Correct, yeah. Training and community training is best. Internally, we offer some other teams that you might see our folks. We have a bike team. We have folks that are on regional hazmat teams and swiftwater rescue teams and things like that. Excuse me. But mostly we offer ambulance transportation and clinical excellence.
So in a time of need, folks are going to see you there. You're going to be the faces at the door whenever an emergency happens or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, folks, we would encourage everybody to dial 911 anytime they think they need an ambulance. You're going to get 2 providers, at a minimum, 2 providers. You may also see the police department. You may also have the fire department show up for certain kinds of calls. But our folks are going to come out. You can rest assured that they've been professionally trained. They're going to come with all of the latest up-to-date equipment, and they'll be there to perform medical assessments, provide medical treatments, and transport you to the hospital that is most appropriate for your condition.
So Jeff, MRTSA has a strong historical relationship with Mount Lebanon, that it was kind of founded out of the Mount Lebanon Police Department. So can you talk a little bit about what that relationship has been in the history of MRTSA and Mount Lebanon? Yeah,
sure. So again, mid-70s, police chief here, Chief Verrilman, came from the West Coast where he'd had some exposure to sort of a different type of pre-hospital medicine. Up until that point, a lot of how folks got to the hospital was they were thrown in the back of a police car and driven very fast to the ER.
Oh, wow.
And so he came, I don't know how long he had been here, but started inquiring about, could a service like that be beneficial to the community? So it was early on, like I said, mid-70s, and the 4 communities, the 4 pillar communities were Baldwin Township, Castle Shannon, Mount Lebanon, and Dormont. And they combined to put together an ambulance service, and at that point became a municipal authority. Not until the mid-80s, but it started as an ambulance service and grew out of the history that the chief brought with him. So yeah, there's a lot of really good history in that sense.
Yeah. So MRTSA really has been a part of the fabric of the Mount Lebanon community for well over 50 years now.
Very much so. Yeah, we're looking forward in a couple years to actually celebrating our 50th.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Great. So we're going to take a short break here, and then we'll be back with more from MRTSA Executive Director Jeff Kelly to talk about their subscription drive. Welcome back to Inside Lebo. Our guest today here is Executive Director of MRTSA, Jeff Kelly. So, Jeff, you're launching into your annual subscription drive. So tell us, what are some of the benefits of having a subscription?
The benefits, Ian, are that you get 50% reduction in any out-of-pocket expenses that you would incur. So an ambulance ride is about $1,500, give or take. And the way the process works is After we take you to the hospital, we collect some billing information for you and we bill your insurance. A lot of times insurances don't cover that bill 100%, so then you as the patient are responsible for the remaining balance of that bill. We changed to this 50% platform about 2 years ago. Previously it had been 100%, so nobody was getting any bills. As you can understand, the costs of providing an ambulance service have increased. So there was some number crunching done in 2020 for the 2021 program, and MRTSA decided to make it a 50% reduction. So being a member of MRTSA means that if you were to receive an out-of-pocket bill, it would be at a 50% reduction of the total cost.
That makes sense. You were telling us before about how this is one of 3 buckets of ways that MRTSA brings in funding. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the primary is the billings, right? So
Right.
We don't get reimbursed unless we take people to the hospital.
Right.
We do have some service charges where if we were to come out and provide some service but not transport you to the hospital. But for the most part, we only get reimbursed when we take people to the hospital. That's our primary source of revenue. Then we have the community assessments that each of the 6 municipalities contribute to, and then the last bucket being the subscription platform where we do this annual program that brings in about $500,000, which is pretty substantial from a revenue perspective for us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how can Mount Lebanon residents sign up for a MRTSA subscription?
So we will be sending out a mailer later this month, as most folks are typically calling the office by this point, right? Usually October we start to see a spike in calls. Folks are on the ball with, hey, I need my subscription. We're really encouraging folks this year to go to our website, MRTSA.com. There's a great platform there where folks can go and do that electronically. We have sent out about 5,600 emails to previous subscribers who we had contact information for. So we are trying to move to a more online friendly platform, and also that helps us defray some costs. Our costs are based upon the number of pieces of mail we have to send out. So the more folks we can get to subscribe online lessens our costs and is better for us. But if you don't like technology or you're afraid to go online, we will be sending out the mailers, like I said, later in October, early November, and then we will send a second mailing in January for those folks who have not yet taken advantage of the program. But again, I would encourage most folks to go to www.mrtsa.com or email us at info@mrtsa.com for information.
How has the response been from those initial emails so far? What are folks saying? Are they signing up?
Yeah, so it went out 9 o'clock last Tuesday, and by 9:03 we'd already had some people call and say, hey, you got an email, I'm trying to figure out, because, again, we're sort of moving into this platform, and, we've been pleasantly surprised already. We've seen a spike of numbers. Typically, the downfall to this program, unfortunately, is that folks don't think they need it. Right? A lot of, the median age in Mount Lebanon is such here that folks are like, oh, I won't ever need an ambulance until you do, right? Until you have, an appendix issue or you're having a baby or something happens. And again, those, unfortunately, providing the ambulance service isn't free. So the younger generation doesn't think they need it. And we try to tell folks that this is sort of like a secondary insurance policy. It allows you to have a peace of mind that when you have the subscription, you're covered, but you're also supporting your ambulance service.
Absolutely. So are there different levels for this? Talk to us about what the subscription, what they can sign up for, what folks can sign up for.
Yeah, so we try to be all-encompassing, so we offer 3 tiers. We offer a household membership, which is for $80, and that is for anybody that resides at your household, or anybody if they were, if Grandma or Aunt B came over and fell and hurt her knee, they would be covered if they're at the residence there. We also offer an individual membership, which is for $60, and that's for just somebody if they, again, they're single, they live here, they want to become a subscriber, or maybe they know that they have medical issues and that they might be a utilizer of the ambulance, so they would want to pay that on their own. And then we do have a business membership, which is $100, and that again is for any time somebody might be at the business, or it allows a business owner to cover their employees while they're at work. Right, so the opportunity to defray some ambulance costs should somebody need an ambulance while they're at work, and the business membership is available. That's probably our least likely source. A lot of businesses, again, they don't really, money's tight, times are tough right now.
Absolutely.
So I understand if they're tightening up the budget or their belt a little bit, but we really look to the individuals and the household memberships to help us navigate the waters of EMS reimbursement.
Yeah, that's great. And as someone who has had to call ambulances to my house before, I can say it's definitely worth considering a subscription so that, when you need it, you don't necessarily have to worry about all those other things that I mean, MRTSA provides a great service to our community. They're always there when we need them for anything, regardless of whether you have a subscription or not. They'll come to your house. But having that subscription just gives you, like you said, that extra level of comfort and insurance that, you don't necessarily need to worry about the cost so much on the back end when something terrible does happen.
Yeah, and I understand that again, it's not a free service, but we try to work with people who, if they need to do some kind of a payment plan, we operate through a third party's billing service. So that's who, exteriorly they look like MRTSA. But they're not. They're the billing agency. But we have a great relationship with them. We're not looking to threaten anybody's credit or do anything like that. We just want folks to be able to have peace of mind that if they call, they can be covered and they can know that they're going to see a 50% reduction in their bill if they're a subscriber. So that's what I said. I tell everybody to become a subscriber.
And that lasts for an entire year, is that correct? So
It is. It's an annual.
It goes from, okay.
It goes from, for the most part, it's January to January. This online platform that we have internally, we're looking to see if we would do it as a rolling. So
Okay.
if you subscribed in September, then it wouldn't be up till next September. We're not quite there yet. We send it out in October in the hopes that it's just a January to January renewal.
That makes sense. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jeff. We really appreciate it. And we highly encourage people to go to MRTSA.com to sign up for the membership. So just as a parting thought, is there anything else you'd like our residents to know about the subscription drive or MRTSA in general?
As far as the subscription drive, I think, again, we're trying to target those folks who think that they might not ever need an ambulance, because a lot of the phone calls I get are after the bill has come and somebody wants to know how they can become a subscriber. It's not retroactive, right? So you have to already be a subscriber in order to take advantage of it. So I would say that, please reach out and subscribe. And then as far as MRTSA is concerned, we like to be good stewards within the community. So we like to be available for visits, ambulance visits. You can stop by our station at 315 Cypress Way. We'd love to show everybody our equipment, show them around, and just, I would say that, thank your EMS providers, as first responders, just like the police and firefighters. They're out there every day. They've gone through this pandemic like everybody else, but, we saw it in a different light. So don't forget that, those folks are out there doing it every day.
Absolutely. And as someone who was just over at MRTSA the other day, your ambulances are amazing. You have brand new state-of-the-art ambulances, right?
We do, yep.
Yeah.
Looking to order a couple more of those in the next few years. And again, we've added some clinical things. We got new medical equipment to enhance our stuff. We are seeing a cardiac arrest survival rate for out of hospital about 45%. The national average is like just less than 10%. Wow. So again, I would
amazing.
contribute that to having good relationships with our police officers, firefighters, having good community members who are trained in CPR and AED use and who have understand the chain of survival, the whole early recognition, calling 911, hopefully not being on hold, and getting the ambulance there. So again, it takes a village to have good numbers like that, but we're really proud of what we have at MRTS. And we look forward to seeing folks in a non-emergency setting.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on this episode. We're going to have you back and share more about some of the great things going on over at MRTSA.
Yeah.
And that's it for this episode of Inside Lebo. Our producer today is Carrie Monyo, and our theme music was written by her husband, Drew Monyo.
And thanks also to Chris Leeper from the Mount Lebanon Public Information Office for the graphics design. Check back in a few weeks for another episode of Inside Lebo.
Thanks for listening to Inside Lebo, produced by Mount Lebanon's Public Information Office. Learn more about all things Lebo at mountlebanon.org or by following our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages.